An entire selection panel fired. Kieron Pollard now in as captain of the white ball teams. A head coach also sacked earlier this year. Disastrous World Cup campaign. It's all happening for Ricky Skerritt, for him, in 5 months as Cricket West Indies president. He was here earlier this week as Kieron Pollard was named the captain of the one-day international and T20 teams. I had the chance to have a one-on-one with him to talk about his first 5 months in office. Let's play that interview in its entirety for you. Welcome back to Trinidad. Happy to have you here. 5 months into the job, you're nearing 6. How have you found Cricket West Indies presidency being?
Challenging, busy, fun in some respects, but highly urgent for reform. We're very, very busy fighting a lot of fires and trying to chart the way forward on all fronts.
You've made some reforms yourself in your first 6 months as president. You changed coaches, a number of other changes were made in terms of the selection panel. What do you make of those changes that you've made?
Changing personnel is not what this is about. This is about changing a culture, about trying to put a more planned approach to our preparation for big events. We're trying to fix the culture away from reactionary ad hocism, underfunded, poorly executed preparation, to putting the right people in place, both on a short-term and a medium-term basis, so that we can have more effectiveness, more efficiency, better use of funds. We have to do more with less, and you can only do more with less if you have more efficient systems and better quality leadership.
It was painful for a lot of Caribbean fans to watch the World Cup. What was it like for you as president?
Just as painful, if not more. You have to understand that I have been 4 years in a former life, full-time with a West Indies team. And I understand the pain that players feel when they lose, and I understand the hopelessness when they feel which they might feel if they don't get a chance to recover and start winning. We have been losing for a long time. Our teams are at the bottom of the ladder in all versions of the game. We've had some brief peaks, but we've had a lot more troughs than peaks on our curve of success. So what we're trying to do now is to get more peaks than troughs. We want the curve to turn and move in the upward direction on a more sustainable basis. This is not about short-term politicized action. This is not about emotion-driven action. This is about strategic planning. And I'm very confident that that process is going to bring good results.
Do you think it was a bad strategy then to replace Richard Pybus with Floyd Reefer?
That story, unfortunately, is highly overrated. I have never seen any reason before, then, or since to believe that we made any mistakes where that gentleman is concerned. What we're doing is trying to get the best young West Indians into situations where they can learn, where they can grow, and where they can help young cricketers be better cricketers. We have used many foreign coaches. In fact, 7 to be precise, just in the last 6 or 7 years. And we respect the role that all have tried to play. Some have been more effective than others. Some have been more genuine and authentic and caring and concerned about young people than others. We are in the process now, starting today. We will put in place within the next 4 to 5 weeks a new, let's put it this way, a permanent coach. As we have put in place, as of today, a new captain in the ODI and T20 formats. And we believe that we are building on what was there. I want to take this opportunity to say how grateful I am for the service that Jason Holder and Carlos Brathwaite have given to West Indies cricket as captains of those 2 versions. And I hope that this will be an opportunity for them to be more permanent fixtures in both teams without the headaches of captaincy affecting their own preparation and their own peace of mind. Because these are excellent cricketers who should be performing even better in the white ball cricket. But we think we have the right man at the right time, and that's all part of our strategic planning.
How did that conversation go with Jason Holder?
Jason and myself have been having conversations for several years now. But we had a brief conversation yesterday just to inform him that the board had made a decision to merge the two versions of white ball cricket. As you know, he has not been in the T20 team, so it was not, while he would have been one of the considerations, he did not win the position. But I've promised Jason, or I've asked him if I can see him again when I go to St. Kitts tomorrow, where he will be playing cricket this week. So I expect us to sit down and begin to talk a little bit about the future of the test team, which he will be fully in control of going forward.
Yeah, that test team is a major hurdle as well for you. It's been easy to sort of been blinded in the shadows with the one-day international World Cup. What are your plans for West Indies Test cricket?
Pretty much along the same lines. We're into a test championship now. So we have a bit of a break now. We will play one more test later this year against Afghanistan. You may be aware that Afghanistan has been growing in leaps and bounds. So it's going to be a challenge. And so Jason and hopefully the permanent coach and Jimmy Adams, our director of cricket, will all be working together to make sure that we get better prepared for our next overseas tour, which starts very soon I think in just about 5 or 6 weeks' time.
You know, one of the nice things about having you on this show is that you told us before you became president that you believed in a local coach, you believed in a regional coach. Is that the way that the board will go?
The advertisement that went out this morning that has gone hopefully viral across the region says quite clearly that individuals without West Indian heritage need not apply.
Do you think, though, that's going to be, that's cutting down, lessening the pool in an international world that we live in today, in an international sport, West Indies being a professional team? Are you worried at all that that may lessen the pool that you guys can pick from?
Any sacrifice in that regard will be more than compensated by the opportunity for bright West Indian coaches to grow and become themselves international successes. We do have one or two who have already made a name for themselves internationally. We need more. We need more coaches. We need several more coaches of high quality, and we won't get that unless they get a chance. And who better to give them a chance than Cricket West Indies?
You know, the selection panel is also a void that you will be filling very soon. You've got a new selection structure. Are you happy with this, what Dr. Kishore Shallow, your vice president, and his team have put together in this task force?
Well, clearly the board is happy with their report, because the board approved every recommendation on Saturday in our meeting in Tobago. And it's up to us now to put an implementation plan in place to carry out the recommendations of the task force.
How soon rather, do you think we would be able to see these coaches and that selection panel installed?
Hopefully before the next tour. The date that we have in mind to announce the new coach is somewhere around the middle of October. The selection panels, of which there are 3, but with some cross-fertilization, as you saw, they have recommended about 20 possible candidates. They've gone as far as to identify possible candidates who can be invited to apply. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a head hunting, so to speak, based on a pool of possible candidates, all of whom are past West Indian players. And I think that process is going to begin very, very soon.
When you look at what we've done over the last year, and this year in particular, we had a pretty successful England Test series. Everything went downhill after that, including the Indian series and the World Cup. Do you ever worry about those losses impacting things like sports tourism and sponsorship towards West Indies cricket? I know that you did say that you're not in the best financial state.
The losses over many years have hurt gate receipts for Cricket West Indies. We obviously have to get more victories and excite the fans more, but we can also communicate with the fans better. We can be more transparent and more accountable, as we have been in this press conference today, and as we have been in 2 previous press conferences just in the 5 months I've been in office. We've had more openness and more transparency in 5 months than this organization has had in 15 years. So we are on the way, and once we put better systems in place, we're raising standards for our players to achieve better results. We're also raising standards for our administrators and for our match officials and for our financial managers to do better work. We have to raise standards everywhere. The governance program that you hear so much about is designed to make sure that Cricket West Indies becomes a world-class, sustainable organization that produces world-class products and then gets better results on the field as a result.
You know, President, you speak of the things that you are trying to implement will have long-term benefits, sometimes maybe a decade, sometimes 5 years. You seem to be prepared to go after the greater good of West Indies cricket as opposed to your personal image. I've gotten that from you before, and I continue to get that from you as a president.
My personal image is of good integrity. And as long as I can maintain my integrity, that's all I need. This is not about me. I'm very serious about that. This is about a public good, to use the term from one of our regional politicians, that belongs to millions of Caribbean people and Caribbean supporters across the world. And therefore, it cannot be about individuals. It's about getting the right individuals together as teams, as groups, as leaders, as financiers, as sponsors, as supporters, as reporters, to tell the story of West Indies cricket and hopefully turn that story back into the golden tale that it has been and continue an upward trend without fighting too many destructive political battles in the process. I am prepared to fight political battles, but for the time being, we are removing the politics and we're putting cricket first.
I mean, 6 months in, we've seen images of you with various politicians from around the region, meeting with different politicians from around the region. The images today would suggest a rehashing of relationships between people like Pollard and Bravo. How far are you in rebuilding those relationships that you spoke about on the campaign trail?
That will never end. There are too many disgruntled, too many unhappy, too many dissatisfied people out there to meet all of them in 5 months. And I'm meeting as many as I can, to listen to them, first of all, and to ask for their input and their commitment to helping in the process of rebuilding. When I go to see prime ministers, I'm not going to take photographs. I'm not going to be friends. I happen to know several of them personally, and I have the highest regard for them. But I'm going to ask them to do more for cricket. The chief secretary in Tobago last night assured me that the Tobago Executive Council is taking cricket a little bit more seriously. Everywhere I go, I meet politicians and others who love cricket. There's tremendous goodwill out there for cricket. What we haven't done well enough is to capture it in one package or in several effective packages. And so I'm going to be relentless in reaching out to the stakeholders and say, look, you asked for it. You asked for more openness. You asked for more transparency. You asked for more accountability. We're going to give it to you, but it's a two-way street. We want your involvement. We want your resources as you can afford them, and we want you to work with us to rebuild West Indies cricket, because it literally takes a village. This, contrary to what you may have heard from my predecessor or from others in the past, this is not about some superstar suddenly coming from above and rescuing West Indies cricket. This is about a group of well-meaning individuals across the region, the people who are helping the kids in kiddie cricket right through to the rising stars and the future stars. All of them have to be on this page together. It's not easy. I may never achieve it fully, but it cannot be business as usual because everything else that we have done short-term in the past has failed.
5 months in, Mr. President, what are you most happy with? There must be one thing that you are happy with.
Every day I'm happy that I'm healthy and that my family continues to support me and that I'm being blessed from above with good health and good friends, and that so far I haven't lost any friends in the process, and that I have a good vice president and a good group of people who, the board of directors itself is going through a transformation in terms of outlook. The progress that I'm seeing in the board over the last 3 meetings that we've had 2 big face-to-face meetings and one online meeting in the 5 months. And I'm seeing growth right around me in the board. I'm seeing attitudes begin to adjust and transform towards players. We have to bring the needs of players closer to the attitudes and egos and power of the board. And we have to bring all the stakeholders more into the boardroom for us to make better decisions. And that is not a popular thing for me to have campaigned on and then tried to implement. But I'm telling you that it's beginning to show results.
You're a former senator in St. Kitts and Nevis. Which one is easier, being a politician or CWI president?
Being a politician.
Mr. President, thanks a lot. You never say no to us, and I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Excellent.